day, evening, morning, whatever it is for you, with some recognition, the triple gem, and bringing our voices into it to resound um, together. Okay, just a minute. Wadato yena bhagavata namo Patipanano yasambhagavato savaka sangho Dhamayang bhagavantang sadhammang sasangham Ibe sanare yatarahang arobidehi abhibhujayam Satu no bhande bhagava suchiraparini bhutopi Vachima janadhanugam brahmanasam Ime sagare dukatapana karabode patigan hatu Amakam dikharandam nidaya sukhaya Araham samma sambuddho bhagava Undang bhagavandam abhivademi Vakato bhagavata dhammo Namang namasami Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Sanghang namami Andamaya buddhasa bhagavato Abhuvavakanamakkarang aromam Namo Buddhasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhasa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. begin these sessions with chanting, salutation, movement of the body, movement of the body externally, bowing, making offerings, or deliberate, conscious effort, simple, and movement of the body internally, the membranes in the throat, getting the voice, the breath to run over the throat, through the throat, vibrate, connect to the breath with the throat membranes, making sound, and then sound comes out. Obviously, you hear the sound, right? So the sound comes from your body out into the atmosphere around you. You pick it up. So you're getting a loop. That's me. That's my sound coming back. You know. So you don't necessarily think this, but on a kind of very fundamental level, perceptual level, I'm here. But often not necessarily my identity, personality package, but my presence. I'm present in a sentient experience. I'm present in a universe that listens. Yeah. When I say universe, I'm not talking about sun and stars. I'm talking about a sense of being in something bigger than yourself. And it's listening, and you're speaking to it. It's listening. Yeah. Now, if we really get that, this itself is it's such a beautiful thing to do because it moves against that tendency to feel very much enclosed, internal, isolated, uh, stuck in something. So when you chant, you have to open. And with chanting, it don't have to have a great voice or loud, just a sense of your voice, how it is, your sound, and what we're uttering are these simple, sonorous, resonant, flowing qualities. And we're linking those like these are garlands we wrap around the Buddha, our voice sound. And, here I've got some very beautiful ones, but any garland, sound garland, you're wrapping it around the Buddha. So that's our offering. And it's so beautiful. To make an offering is itself a privilege because an offering is never asked for, it's never demanded, it's never measured, it's never judged. It's never said that wasn't enough. That's not an offering. An offering is always free, freely given, freely received. And just says you're offering your resonance, your sound is being received. And we're offering our flowers, our bow, yeah. And it's just really lingering in that particular occasion in a human world which is so often marked with charging, pushing, trying to make things work, meeting difficulties, feeling overwhelmed, feeling left alone, Lord, struggling humans. This touching this occasion, this is what keeps, in my opinion, why it's been so necessary and important through all traditions to have your voice in it. Whether it's church, synagogue, mosque, whatever, your voice comes into it and is heard. And it's the voice. It's the voice that's often fragile, wavering, but living, human, real voice, not just a statement or speech. So it's pondering. Now you pick up that mood, right? Often many teachers would actually say you begin meditation just using a word that you love, like Buddha, Namo, or Tara or something. And you use that and extend that. Hold that word in your head, even murmur it, and then see if you can link your breath to it. Mm. So the feedback of the sound, the sacredness, the occasion, so you're getting your breath, your breathing to connect to that. So you're taking it very deep. Every out breath is a salutation. Every in breath is an offering. Every out breath is a salutation. Mm. And then the mind is set in the right position. Heart, its heart is set in the right position. What is that position? It's dead stable. It's got a root. The root is one of attention. It's embodied. Don't focus on physical sensations so much as just the sense of a body, presence. We'll get back to that later. And then from that foundation, awareness opening, soft quality, receptive, feeling almost massaged by the energy of sound, the breathing. It's like it's a stirring with this subtle beauty moving through your awareness. You know, and lingering with that, taking that in. Uh, this is. Mm. And there's a feedback with that because if we can listen deeply through all the rest of the whatever can be going on, we pick up this beauty, sacred beauty, and as you resonate with it, it gets stronger just by continuing returning to it. It's got a natural, healthy uh, quality. Mm. And just like a plant drinks up water, you don't have to tell it, it drinks it up. So your mind and body begin to drink up this quality, become filled, replenished. When you use the breathing, once it is properly connected to the right thing, you don't want your breathing to be connected to fear, otherwise it becomes fear. If your breathing connected to beauty, harmony, it becomes beauty and harmony. It's an emotional resonator. Mm. Then we use that because it has an effect on the nervous system, and it has presence. Something definitely there that can just help to attract one's attention. And keep coming to the fore through the scurry of thought. First of all, establish beautiful. Your breath is led by the right quality. And ask your body to trust it, receive it. So those slight restrictions in the abdomen or the chest or the throat, ask them to receive the breathing like an honored guest, and open. Let the energy of the breathing travel through. You're safe. And in this occasion, we're sharing with another 150 people. So together. And as we move towards this, ending this occasion, just to remember to send out some of that to parts of your body that are chronically uncomfortable, parts of your life that are chronically stuck, parts of this world that seem terminal, and for them a garland to, they don't have to get better, but we change our attitude, we keep our attitude straight and proper. Um, thank you. So today I'm going to respond to some questions that have come in. Thank you for your questions. Um, and sometimes I mean, it's wonderful to hear truth and people's specific lives. I feel quite blessed to participate in your lives. Um, so we'll go through a few things. Some of them I may have touched on before. I'm not that great at organizing myself. Um, but first of all, just start with awareness and presence. I think this might have been touched on a previous occasion, but these are just words, of course. Awareness wide and open, presence being a bit more dense, focused. What's exactly is this presence stuff? What is awareness? Well, we can put some more words around it, but if we talk about experience, say awareness, I would say that sense of receptivity, open, it's got no particular boundary, it's open, it's spacious, it doesn't really do anything apart from, you know, be aware, whatever that is. What does aware mean? Yeah. It's not asleep, is it? Something is bright or resonant, capable of taking in. So there's a gentle vitality to that. And and then presence is much more like, well, in all that, what specific, the specific quality. So awareness is just global. Presence is much more like, yeah, but you're here. This gives you a certain sense of capable of being responsive and attentive. So, I'm here. Now, this is what I want to bring into awareness. So, it gives one specific responsibility. I'm present. Now, I can be aware of memory, sight, sound, touch, flavor, other people, situations. The scope, the possibilities are endless. Presence is that which kind of says, well, right here now, what's important? Where do you stand? What is important to you, to this chitta, to this particular chitta specifically at this time? Now, both of these can be wrapped up with the term mindfulness. Mindfulness is it's both present. It says this particular thing, yeah. No, this thing, it avoids distractedness, and it sustains. That's the quality of presence. It stays with it. And awareness, it stays. It also drinks it in. So it's rather like a loop. You put a loop around an experience, and you stay with it. You don't let the thing. You don't break the loop. You keep the loop steady, and you hold it over something. Now that presence is the loop, and awareness is the space within the loop that you're drinking in things. And naturally, you want to put that loop properly established means you establish it through skillful intention. Establish it with faith, with clarity, with resolve, and you place it, and then you listen in to that. Now, of course, mindfulness is based upon skillful qualities such as attentiveness, right view, and right effort. But it means we can be mindfully aware of unskillful qualities, but we're not basing our mindfulness on them. We're basing our mindfulness on right view, right effort, right attentiveness. So that helps us to, when unskillful qualities, restlessness, worry, grief, the lot, restlessness, and so forth, come rolling into awareness. Mindfulness is, okay, then this I'm not going to get involved with. I'm going to actually sustain my stability, so this restless, shaky stuff isn't fed. Mm. So that quality of presence enables one to respond clearly to skillful and unskillful phenomena. If it's an unskillful phenomenon, we withdraw to simple presence, body, breathing, whatever, and the unskillful quality then doesn't take energy and get big. And then flood awareness, as we do recognize to our cost sometimes, you can be aware of something, and, oh, yeah, this is what, and then, whoa, it's pulling you in because there isn't enough presence to hold the stability. Now, of course, if your practice is very strong, your awareness and presence are more or less knitted together. But most of us need some navigation in there to say, okay, just steady up. Unskillful quality, you know it because it's clouding, it's dulling, it's agitating. Hold steady. Skillful quality, you listen to it more deeply and take it in. Presence gives you the choice because you've got a firm foundation. Yeah. And that presence can be, Buddha said, one is mindful of the body, jnana muttam, just to the extent it's necessary for full awareness. Jnana muttam, limit. So it's there as a guardian to hold one's awareness clear from getting soiled. When we just bearing these factors in mind, because as I might have said, really there's no single word for meditation in the Buddha Dhamma. There's samadhi, there's sati, there's unification, there's mindfulness, there's deep attention, there's inquiry, there's citta bhavana, cultivation. So there's a whole plethora of terms that are used. And when people talk about meditation, I wonder exactly what's happening. Because I think one can see meditation from the outside. It's a time when you sit still and close your eyes. But that isn't really adequate and it for what needs to be done. And of course, we're trying to say, well, could this process of awakening and clarification be running, a lot more of the time than just when we're sitting still? And of course, it has to do, otherwise, we're not going to get very far at all. So, but naturally, particularly in the modern West, we tend to come to Buddha Dhamma through this process of going to a center, sitting still. So that's what we think it is, or based upon. And yeah, that's definitely a part of it. But actually, the reality of Dhamma cultivation is a whole weave of culture, duties, ethical qualities, compassion qualities, proper observances, right livelihood. It's a whole weave of things that act together to form a very complete package of qualities that will keep warding off harmful influences and building up a skillful continuum of mood, of atmosphere, of mental, of heart continuity that will pertain through the trammels and joys and whatevers of daily life. Now, so it's really recommend encouraging the full package, because often we can't meditation, take it alone, we can get stuck. And so this person became a monk, failed due to overwhelming negative experiences in meditation. The worst of these negative experiences, violent, despair-ridden death and torture sequences. So the person was getting these images, I assume, or moods associated with violent torture, and these still occurring. Psychological issues are developed because of this. Maybe did something wrong in previous lives or whatever, but this has been going on for a number of years. So far, standing and walking meditation appear to be the safest, but not safe. I wish to meditate sitting and lying down without negative experience. Well, I think if standing and walking gives you a little more positive physical engagement, I would say. Walking particularly. Walking, the body's going to be moving. You're going to be in some environment that's going to make sense of the body is in motility, it's able, it's not frozen. It's definitely up and running, you could say. Standing, again, if you're standing, it's a lot more active or dynamic than sitting, because with sitting, you can quite easily drift off. Standing, you can't drift off because you fall over. And standing definitely keeps you on your toes, you could say. So this means that what's happening is you're getting a little more body engagement in there. That acts as a counterbalance to the psychologies of them that can be running, which for you have these various difficulties in them. So I would suggest you kind of really look at mindful activity, activity you consciously do with pure intention, and pure intention, ethically based, compassion-ridden or love-oriented or generosity-oriented, interactive with other human beings, or if you can't find human beings, animals. Yeah. This certainly opens up, so we can get lost in this inner cavern with all these dark forces in it. You want to open out. You're still mindful. You're not distracting by the fact of acknowledging there is such a thing as an external world. It's not a distraction. You purify your intention externally and your actions externally, so that helps the results of that feedback. This is what's kind of the topic of punya, merit. It means merit can be just breathing in and out, it can be meritorious. It means the sustaining of skillful intention, skillful resonance. Now those resonances of the heart, the heart is a resonant experience. It's not just a thought that disappears, it leaves traces. What we put through our hearts leaves traces. As we probably recognize, if we've encouraged negligent traces, the heart's got that kind of slack mode in it. If we sustain conscious, manageable, right intentionality, that carves a track. And the energies gather in that particular mode. Energies naturally form around that mode. That becomes their guiding light. Now that can be physical action. It could be praying. It could be chanting. It could be helping someone. It could be even attitude towards yourself. It could be meditation. Punya is not just a theory. It's a reality. That means that the more you sustain skillful intention, those intentions establish a resonance in the heart. The heart attracts those energies. Those energies then positive build up to give you a store that keeps you fed and nourished through the difficult times. This is absolute standard practice, and then that is going to help to drain some of these negative influences, or at least give you a way of no longer getting plunged into them. You can look at them with compassion. Experiencing fear, scenarios of dread or fear, look at it like you're looking at somebody else's movie with a feeling of compassion rather than overwhelmed by it. Maybe that's what it needs. Maybe it needs someone to bear presence with that, like visiting Auschwitz. You bear presence with that and you've just spread compassion. But if you go in there and get stuck in it, then you become one of the inmates, right? So there's a line there to be to be sustained, you know. Mm. So that you can't necessarily always do that sitting still. So this whole culture thing. Um, and these things don't go quickly, you know. These things can last for quite a while. So we're not kind of expecting, here's the pill, you know, there it goes. But how can I learn to relate to terror? Because there is terror in the world. There is horror. There is atrocity. You know, so maybe I'm not having it myself right now, but I've got to learn to bear presence with that. So I'm not just kind of crumbling under it, or or getting. So I can bear presence with a compassionate, steady heart. And this is so. This is to definitely. However you go around it, this is going to be for your welfare. Just bear in mind, sitting still is not the only way to practice. Um, Another question. In the evening, I think I would like, in the evening, I think I would like to get up early so there's more time for practice. In the morning, my alarm goes off and I hit the snooze button. Oh dear. At first, there's a strong urge to go back to sleep. Then I'm awake. I lie in bed and think. It could be 30 to 60 minutes or more till I get up. Later, I think, I wish I'd gotten up earlier so there'd be more time to practice. This cycle goes on and on. I want to be compassionate and forgive myself. I also want to use my limited time well. In general, saddha, that's faith, and samvega, sense of spiritual urgency, feel quite strong. But this habit is clearly stronger. This habit to just not really engage. Yeah, well, we're right. Okay, so the early morning times coming out of sleep is a pretty crucial time. We're not in our fully responsible state yet. You know, the day really begins when you take full responsibility for it. So one is at that hesitant. Oh, I don't want to, really. Oh, maybe I just kind of okay. Yeah. But at least you're not going back to sleep. So that's good. So then, actually, if you're lying there, why don't you just say what's happening in my feet, and just do a quick, steady scan of your body from your feet on up and down again, and in the back, and try to straighten yourself. So come into your body, try to straighten yourself as you're lying down. Straighten yourself out gently, steadily. Feel the back open up, open the chest, open the belly. Okay. Feel how nice it is to open up, and then maybe use your skin contact, touching, in contact. Here it is. A little bit of movement. Mm. Move the face. Get the system running. Once life comes into the tissues, there's a certain sense in which the ball has started rolling. And it's much more possible to, okay, let's get up, because actually getting up is really nice then, because you're getting up in a opening rather than dragging yourself out. I recommend that. You can also get some chanting, a recording of chanting. Yeah. So when the thing clock goes off or something, you have a button you can push, some sound, some chanting. It reminds you, get the right tune, right attitude. So we're not getting up to rush off to work. We're not getting up. We're getting up because we're rising into the day. And then really, as I say, come into this physicality of the body, spend some time with that, get it straightened out, Take some deep breaths. Move your face, open your eyes, move the skin. Get the body activated. Yeah. Deep breaths. And then use that as the springboard to start a more fully responsive day. Mm. And yeah, do once you see a habit, once you recognize a habit, you think, oh, habit, then if it's a habit, you better start working on it. Otherwise, it's gonna take over. They're like that. You either conquer them or they conquer you. Karma, it's called. I've been a Buddhist for 35 years, and yet only recently I've started to open up the heart. All my life, except perhaps when I was little, I haven't been able to cry. It was like I didn't have any tears, only anger, frustration, fear, dread, and depression. When my mother died in 2016, I started crying. There's hardly a day now when I don't cry. In meditation, at a word you say in a talk, when I'm doing housework, it's like my body cries, sobs, shakes me violently, and sometimes I can't continue my sit as I'm exhausted. I don't know why I'm crying. What has triggered it? Does that matter? Sometimes it gives me relief. Sometimes some tangled up inside gets untangled. I don't know. I get the sense the body knows what it needs to do. And when the sobbing is less violent, I think I could work with this, but I don't know how. I'm in good health, but I know I don't have so much time left. Simply, I would suggest you do some more chanting. Either, you can probably download chanting from loads of places. Simple ones you can chant, either in the Pali or Sanskrit languages, which got a lovely sound to them. Ones have particular meaning to you. And there's a range of them. Some of them are sobering, I have the nature to age, I'm the nature to die. Some are very beautiful, Metta Sutta, loving kindness. Some are just deeply sonorously wise. The Mangala Sutta gives you very practical advice not to associate with fools, to associate with the wise, to look after your family. These are just beautiful utterances to make. And if you can chant them, then you're giving your heart, because the heart sings, it doesn't write. The mind writes things, the heart sings. It's a different organ. I mean, it doesn't. I'm talking rather poetically. The heart is an emotional sense, and that's the way we're built. That's fine, and we can use that. It seems yours has got a bit unbalanced one way, and then suddenly the floodgates opened. So you need to attend to it and use the chanting to kind of give the heart the emotional quality, a skillful way of expressing itself and listening to itself and hear itself and calm itself, reassure itself. That's what I would suggest. Someone's on solitary retreat. They're open to bodily bodily sensations seem to be an integral part of practice. A simple act of coming back to the body, observing it as layers of physical and mental tension wash through, seems to create more space, which in turn allows for more washing through. So this person's on a 2.5 year solitary retreat. So they're doing their body stuff, body practice, tension washing through, but it allows for more stuff to happen. I do experience regular migraines. It seems the physical tension releases through the practice, but then periodically the tension comes back with a vengeance, which culminates in a migraine. It's like attention isn't quite ready to go and wants a leaving party before departing. That's an interesting way of looking at it. um, well, yeah, I mean, great, wonderful opportunity, so many years for solitary retreat, but you need definitely some specific guidance. Yes, naturally, when you come into body, and if you come into body, obviously the visual body disappears, and then ideally the conceptual body, the idea we have of our body, that can go, and you have the sensations, yeah. And if you linger with that and go beneath that, you come to the energy body, which is just like the body is an experience of vitality pulsing. And this is where you're going to start to get the stuff moving. You're going to start to get the tensions rising and rolling through. You're going to get maybe sudden rushes or spaciousness occurring, and then other stuff happening. So you're in the energetic field. Naturally, tension is an energy, and tension is frozen energy. So when frozen energy releases, sometimes you get a oof, oof, and I don't know, but this can be something to do with the migraines. And particularly with migraines, you want to keep you don't want to have a tension that's too tight. You want to have a tension that knows how to do this kind of going from a local effect to a global effect. Local energy, same thing we're focusing on, and then keep widening your attention to go to the overall field, the whole body, and even the space around it. Don't close in, but come from a narrow place to a very wide place and do that some massage. Also, in generally, the encouragement will be to keep, if you like, inclining down rather than up, going down into the ground. If you're doing standing meditation, this is an excellent way of directing your energy to the ground by directing your attention down to your feet and even into the space underneath your feet. So helping your energy to kind of find a way of moving down. So the release could go downwards rather than attempt to go upwards. Now, whenever we feel a block, could be in our hips, could be in our throat, could be in our head, its energy is trying to get through, but it can't quite get through. So it tightens up and you get a blocked feeling. Well, it needs to find another route. It needs to find another way out because that area, for some reason, or it's broken. You can't force through. So you either have to widen across the whole field at that point. So I've got something tight in my shoulder, I widen across my chest, then go down, keep continuing to expand over the whole body. And really the safest is to go down the back, down to the ground, into the floor, and then maybe even some walking and some movement. See what your body wants. If the body wants to move, what would feel good. So then the body then also helps to massage the mind. So the mind isn't just too fixated, it has to learn how to dance, how to supple and be more expansive and flowing rather than just focus, grip to too tight attention. That's what I would suggest. Person, yeah. Obviously, if I was with you on retreat, I'd be giving you checking in, but that's what I can offer this time. It's good to get somebody, if you're on retreat, somebody you can, a teacher you can talk with from time to time. Person living by themselves, quite secluded from community or even just simple friendly relationships. I'm living alone because I was asked to move out of a shared living space. So what happened was that conflict, I was asked to move out by my housemates. I didn't want to. And whatever occurred, it was never resolved in a conversation. I was just blocked out. rather than have a conversation about what the problem was. So this person was asked to leave her shared situation without understanding quite why or having a chance to resolve it. So the others just basically stopped talking to their questioner. So even when I see them round about, they ignore me, pretend not to see me. It's quite hostile. So then the person moves into a new apartment. Other neighbours pick a fight with me. Stood at my door yelling until I went to get some help from another neighbour. It was just some minor misunderstanding, but their hostility was so intense, we didn't get round to resolving it. Then my previous housemate said I was psychotic. I've been struggling with depression because these external difficulties, had a nervous breakdown when the housemates tried to force me out at the same time when my twin was diagnosed with cancer and I was unemployed. Well, I think that was an understandable reaction to being in an impossible situation. Anyway, one family, still very friendly, the landlords are still friendly and encourage me not to take it all personally. uh, anyway, on top of that, the second issue is relational field of my family of origin. She used to live with her sister, but that then sister doesn't want us to talk to her, doesn't want me to live in the same city. So we used to spend our birthdays together, but now for 3 years we haven't because she doesn't want to. Last two birthdays I spent alone. I can't find anyone else who wants to spend it with me. I don't even receive text messages except my father. It takes resolution to bear this equanimously. So anyway, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I feel like the ground under me has vanished and I can't breathe. I haven't been breathing for a while now. How do I not lose heart? Well, my goodness. Reading these texts and for the sake of time, I've tended to run through them quite quickly. I think you get the general sense of it. It really is just reading these, and I'd like to kind of not read it, but actually hear it. I'd like to hear the voice, be there. It seems so kind of almost cold to just read it off a sheet. I'd like to hear the voice, so I could more properly feel it and more fully respond to this person's stress. But here we are. I would say just kind of very briefly, probably a very simple thing to do is just go and help someone. There's got to be, if you live in a city, there's got to be places where people are homeless, need some support, charities, I don't know, food kitchens, something you can engage with. You are definitely engaged with people, and you can bring yourself into a relationship that if you can't find people, dogs, stray dogs, sick donkeys, abandoned chickens, whatever. Something needs you. Something will benefit from your presence, and you'll benefit from being of benefit, and you'll benefit from being engaged. Now, you talked about relational field. So relational field, this expression, naturally you all have friends, parents, neighbors, people we work with who affect us. And because of that, we have the sense of being in this field of effect. We've been affected. We have been brought up. This is right view. We're in a relational field of people who affect us, people we want to affect, people we feel grateful for, people we feel frightened of, people we are guides, people we feel whatever, you know. So this is going on, and this is very much part of what we are, really. Um, and it's very mixed, you know. As I said, this person's reeled out a whole lot of very deeply unpleasant relationships, relational experiences in that field. Been one or two glimmers of light. But it's also up to us to take responsibility for the field, what's in that. So it means we deliberately bring in people who we can get some positive resonances with, either by helping them, yeah, which is a very skilled, helpful thing to do. These are people I look after. These are people I give to. These are people I share with, join a group, communicate. You know, this is all skillful relationship. And you feel your heart starts to resonate. You don't want to lose heart. If you don't want to lose heart, you better use it. If you don't use it, you lose it. You use heart by bringing forth skillful intention, resonate with what's beautiful, and take in the resonance. So then if you're bringing forth skillful intentions, you can resonate with that, take that in. And if you lose heart, you freeze up. This is depression. And it kills people. Because if you lose heart, what happens is certain energies change, and those energies are not just, they have a physical effect. You know, I mean, the tissues start to deteriorate if we're not getting some positive energy in them. And we don't look after ourselves. So, so then relationship definitely is part of that. You know, if you're doing it, sick relationships will sicken you. Positive relationships will enhance you. And positive relationships doesn't mean just people I'm in a bonded romantic relationship with. It means the person on the street I say thank you to, the person here I give a coin to, the person here I express gratitude to, the person here I express compassion to. You know, they don't have to be close kin. But as the Buddha said, you know, associating with the wise, not to associate with fools. It's Mahamangala Sutta. You know, associate with the wise, don't associate with fools. Fools, we can take the big picture. People who are not giving you negative, confusing, painful experiences. Associate with the wise. There it is, right at the beginning of the sutta. It means relationship counts big time. This is the highest blessing, to associate with the wise. Okay, so this means again you bring to mind. I have associated with wise people. I wouldn't be if you're in a Dhamma stream, you associate with some wise people. If you've done meditation practice, you associated with wise people. Bring them to mind. Listen, think of them. Bring them to mind. Respect them. You know, and so on. Sometimes you go to monasteries, you see a whole lineage on the wall, or the pictures, paintings, of all the wise. They're up there. It's not just decoration. This is the meditation hall. You go to a Tibetan monastery, you see that they're going back to the time of Naropa, 8th century. It goes all the way back, right up to the present day. They're paintings, This means this is what I belong to. This is the field. Yeah. They're up there on the wall. So when they go to that what do you call meditation hall, again we'll use the word meditation, the Dhamma hall, you go into the presence of the elders, you go into the presence of the awakened ones, you go to the presence of people who you've got some teaching from, or you at least can look like they're dignified and pure and kind. You're in that presence, and then you start to chant it. So you resonate with it, right? And you make offerings to it. What do you think they're doing that for? It's not just to pass the time or sort of cultural pertinence. This is absolutely meaningful, deep immersion into the field of the blessed. Because if we don't, you look what you're in, you know, you look at the world we're in. There's people bombing each other to hell, rape, violence, terrorism, nastiness all around you, right? You know, you've got neighbors who and so forth, and dysfunctional sister. Yeah, that's bad. But you look around, what do you think is happening in Gaza? Neighbors, you know, or anywhere, Sudan, Congo, Yemen, you know, places we've even forgotten, Burma, places we've even forgotten about because they're not hitting the headlines, right? That's, and we're human beings. So in some way, we're related to all of that. Now, we're not trying to kind of just go into some fairyland, but recognize, you know, my heart's going to just crumble and I can't bear it. You know, maybe if it was a Buddha, I could, but I can't bear that. I need something to keep it keep me being here, yeah, and awake and open. So then we have to take responsibility of our relational field. Mhm. Okay? Now, you know, what I'm suggesting and perhaps presenting is movement. Now, you know, movement. Now, chanting is movement. It's the movement of the voice, the movement of sound, right? Breathing is movement. Walking is movement. Thinking is movement. Remembering is movement. It's something shifts. Mm-hmm. So, what the movements that resonate skillfully, the movements of the mind, the movements of the heart, the movements of, oh, yeah, that's a movement. Oh, I remember. Oh, yeah, that's a movement. Those are tiny micro movements of the psyche. If we don't move, we're dead. Yeah. So you have to move. And that can, you know, if you're really frozen up, that means get your track, get your shoes on and start jogging. Go jogging in the park, go jogging down the street. You know, if it gets that locked, get out, start moving, get the movement going, because you don't want to be in a grip of depression. Mm. And then you feel you have power. You can move, you can go, you can travel, you can sing your song, you can chant your chant, you can whatever. Mm. And then that's then you come back. Your strength is coming back. Then you can refine it. Then you can make determined, okay, I do this, I do that, I do this, I go here, I find so and so, I remember this, I write a letter to so and so, I remember something, a gift that somebody gave me. Yeah. Then we begin to, you know, enter into being able to be responsible for our welfare and for the welfare of others, because when I'm doing something for the welfare of others, it is for my welfare automatically because I'm generating and dwelling in skillful intentionality. And please stay tuned in. You know, this I hope is some kind of lifeline for people. We're talking about difficult things, and that helps all of us to recognize what struggles we're in as human beings and the compassion and some of the skillful means that can help us to um, move through this difficult territory. I'll take one last one. Actually, it follows on. How can one embrace this human existence and remain unattached to any identity? Well, if you want to embrace this human existence, you've got to let go of identity. Because if you embrace all of it, you know, it means you've got to have no personal position. If you can embrace the villains and the criminals and the rapists and the violators and the plagued and the diseased and the sick and the wounded and the starved and the bullying, as well as the beautiful and the tender and the kind, that's going to do, to really embrace it, you've got to get your identity out of the way and just let your heart open. Then you mentioned emptiness, empty of self. It's not empty of phenomena. It's the big phenomenon that you want to empty out is a sense of self, which carries the weight, that blocks the heart up. So I'll thank you for your time and attention. I realise you spent an hour or so. You probably have things you'd like to do, or you'd like to say some of what I've said and reflect upon it. And maybe it's a time to draw the talking to an end. So thank you very much. And stop right there. Just to mention, we have had a little bit of technical problem. I hope that's resolved now, but I've posted on my website alternative links. So hopefully this tiny letter thing will work, but if not, the Zoom link will work. Otherwise, you'll get it recorded on Dhamma stream and look at it later. I can't, personally, technologically, I'm an infant. I can't. I just have to, rely upon friends to get this thing going. Yeah. So that's it. And thank you, everyone. And I'll just sign off for now. And we'll hopefully April 5th is the next session.
Andamayang Dadamakaya Sadhukarang Dadamase Sadhu 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 Anumodami.
Dhammam Buddham Bhagawa Buddham Bhagavantan Vivademi Vakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Patipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sangham Namami. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to Vita for holding the session, and take good care and stay in the stream.
Thank you. So, brothers and sisters, let us all now offer our gratitude and deep appreciation to Lom Po by offering him 3 bows, please. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Thank you, Lom Po.
Okay.
See you next month.